What advice would you give your younger self?
To never marry. To never marry. I think that I could have done all the things that I have done without a man.
About 5 years ago, the media ran countless stories about how unmarried women are supposedly the happiest demographic of people. Women are happier without children or a spouse, says happiness expert. Why so many single women without children are happy. Expert claims women are happiest unmarried and childless. Single women live longer and are happier, science says. Boy, what a victory to all the man-hating feminists out there. Science proves that women are better off without men. The mainstream media loved this message and they ran with it. It was complete bullshit, of course. It was quickly discovered that the researcher Paul Dolan had read the data completely wrong. His conclusions were completely false. Of course, unmarried women are not happier. But that didn't stop the media salivating over the idea and pushing it as hard as they could. For the record, here is the actual data. You can see how married women, especially married women with children, are the happiest demographic. But why was the mainstream media so eager to run with this narrative that women don't need men? It's because misery loves company, and that message was soothing to all the bitter single women out there. They couldn't find a man, they couldn't make marriage work, and so they pushed this myth that success as a woman means to be single. That way they don't need to confront their own shortcomings. Now I have a hard message to all of the single women out there, which is that I discriminate against you. I think you being single reflects poorly on you. Yes, I am judgmental, but let me phrase it another way. I am extremely biased towards people who are married or in long-term relationships. Like if I was hiring for a job and I wanted a talented, high-performing, well-adjusted individual who I knew was capable of fulfilling the role, I would select candidates, men and women, who were married over people who are single. The reason is because relationships are hard. If you are successful in love, you have been married for many years, I think that that reflects very positively on you. So of course, my judgment is going to reflect that. I feel the same way about motherhood and fatherhood. Raising children, stepping up to that responsibility, that's difficult, that requires sustained effort. If you are successfully managing that and you're raising healthy, well-adjusted children, that reflects very positively on you. The intimate relationships in our lives require work, communication, conflict resolution, loyalty, dedication, intelligence, emotional courage. These things are not easy. It takes hard work to make it work. I know that back in the day, they used to take it for granted that everybody gets married. That's just the expectation. It's no big deal. I don't feel that way anymore. I think marriage is a big deal. I had a woman tell me yesterday that she's been married for 30 years. And spontaneously, out of my mouth, I said, congratulations. And she said, thank you. Yes, we've had tough times, but we've made it through. We're very happy. And I get that it might seem socially a bit strange to congratulate somebody on being married. But honestly, in this day and age of quick gratification, quick divorce, I think 30 years is heroic. I think that it's an achievement worth celebrating. Because in this day and age, we seem to be living in a culture where so few women are willing to put in that hard work that a marriage requires.
Mostly women are leaving marriages and not men. Mostly women. At the college level, it's almost all women. Then men are the exception because women are initiating 90% of the time. And then if we break those stats down along religiosity, we might come up with some different numbers. But yes, it's mostly women breaking up the home.
How
yes,
do you know that's not men's fault?
Well, because we can ask these women why the divorce happened. And we can look at court documents for the reasons that they put for the divorce. And we can run different polls where we're talking to them. And what we find is the same thing that was pulled up the other night here on whatever. He was a perfect guy. I just got fucking sick of him. I don't like him anymore. There was no abuse. He didn't do anything wrong. I just don't fucking like him.
Is she not entitled to make that choice if she doesn't like her husband anymore?
I think that if you put your own self's entitlement above that of your children, in order to have access to their father in a two-parent household, you're setting them up for failure. And that's what we see in the stats.
Absolutely. I'm not going to go through the statistics again because I've covered them extensively on my older videos. You can go and watch them. But the data on how poorly children perform when they come from single mother households is astonishing. That so many women are willing to carelessly just discard their marriage without a thought as to what impact that will have on their children is so sad. I want to talk more about the selfish attitude that women are bringing towards marriage. But first, I need to tell you that whenever I go wallet shopping, I always ask the salesperson, is this wallet made of space grade aluminium? And they look at me like I'm weird. But the good folks over at Exeter didn't think I was strange. They gave me a knowing look and said, brother, we've got you covered. Check out their aluminium card holder. It has an expandable backplate and, like all Exeter card holders, a slim, efficient design that holds up to 12 cards and cash. The RFID blocking will keep you safe from wireless theft, and it's available in 14 different colors and designs, so you are guaranteed to find the one that suits you. Efficiency, style, convenience, what more could you want? I'm so glad that Exeter are sponsoring this video because truly, bulky wallets, they're a thing of the past. That's not what men want anymore. And don't forget the solar-powered tracking device which helps you locate your wallet from your phone. So useful for those inevitable times when you place your wallet somewhere and you can't remember. I've even used my wallet to call my phone. Check out their full range through the link below and use my code AG to get a discount of up to 55%. Amazing deal, don't miss out. Upgrade the way that you carry your cards today. Okay, back to this increased female selfishness. Women only looking out for their own interests in marriage. This is a big problem. All of that, yes queen, be a bad bitch, you don't need a man. It's an issue because that female empowerment drumbeat is out of sync with the rhythm of marriage. Marriage requires dedicated effort, cooperation, teamwork, the purposeful alignment of your own individual interests with those of your family, your children. To be a wife is to understand that it's not all about you. But that message is fundamentally at odds with the cultural propaganda that women have been receiving for the last few decades, which is why so many marriages fall apart. Evidently, modern women just cannot stomach this notion that in order to be married is going to require some sacrifice. And this is why divorces initiated by women are so much on the rise. Look at this graph. Back in 1950, women were only initiating divorces 20% of the time. Now look where it is. Marriage takes work and some women just don't want to do the work. It's easier to just leave.
If your husband is a good guy, but you're ready for divorce, you're not a bad person. So don't let guilt get the best of you. You're not doing him any favors by staying. If anything, you're actually going to start building up resentment. Your relationship doesn't have to be toxic to validate your feelings of wanting to leave.
God, our culture is failing so badly. We do not have adequate disincentive structures preventing women from bailing on marriages. Our society makes divorce an easy option for women to take. Of course she's going to recklessly end her marriage. She knows that financially she's going to get taken care of. She knows that the court is going to grant her custody of the children. Socially, she'll have everybody's approval as the woman who chose herself. She valued herself too high that she doesn't need to settle for some average man. It was doomed from the start because society is failing. We're not adequately educating women that to be somebody's wife is going to require compromise, sacrifice, effort. I know we're living as the instant gratification generation, but let me tell you this as an absolute fact. Nothing in this world that is genuinely fulfilling and meaningful comes easily. If you want the really good parts of the human experience, the really enriching, juicy, just yummy, amazing parts, you're going to have to earn it. But in the modern era, God, it's so frustrating, but you've got women who just expect things to happen instantly. And when things start to break down, there are problems, there are issues that need attending to, that need fixing. The message from the culture isn't work on it, put in the effort, stay, fix the problem, work your way through it. No, the message is move on. You are too good for him anyway. You'll find something better. If it doesn't feel right, you don't have to stay. God help us, ladies. Marriage is not about the vibes. It is a commitment that you make and you recommit to every single day. It requires effort, sustained effort.
The older I get, the more I realize that relationships are literally all about choice. Not about love, not even really about compatibility. It's literally about if that person wants to choose to be in a relationship with you. Do they want you? Period. The reason why relationships aren't about love is because love is a feeling, and sometimes you're not gonna feel the love between you and your partner. It literally comes down to two people choosing each other.
Exactly right. If you're dating a woman whose sense of commitment to you is based off the feelings, the vibes, that is not a stable foundation. And if you make a commitment to her, you put a lot on the line, then you are playing with fire. Gentlemen, you need to make smart choices in dating. You need to think very rationally when deciding who to marry. If you pick the wrong woman, then don't be surprised if you're divorced by 40 and you only see your kids every other weekend. You can't afford to be lazy about this. The risk is too high. The consequences are too dire. You can't pick a woman just because she's hot or she's fun or she's convenient for right now. Let me tell you some absolute facts. Her looks are going to fade, life is not always fun, and the relationship is not going to stay convenient because the circumstances of life change constantly. When you're choosing a wife, look for character, look for depth, look for shared values, look for a woman who you know is capable of evolving, shaping themselves to suit new situations and circumstances. Be realistic about the problems that you're going to face because as much as we all like to believe that we are unique, in all likelihood, you're going to face the exact same problems that every married couple does. You need to prepare yourself for them. You need to expect them. Love does not conquer all, but with some rationality and some deep commitment, it's got a much better fighting chance. And for the rest of this video, I'm going to explain the 5 conflicts that most married couples are going to go through and explain how to navigate them. Just based on the nature of life and existence and the differences between men and women, I would be very surprised if any married couples had escaped these 5 conflicts. And maybe you haven't gone through them yet. Great. Watch this video so you know what to expect so that you can prepare. If you want to keep watching, come on over to Patreon. That's where this video continues. What you've seen posted here on YouTube, this is a shortened, condensed version. The extended version is available on Patreon. If you want to keep watching, come join me there.